Welcome to Home Equity Secrets. I'm Carl Christian, CEO of the Nice Agent Co. Join me as we reveal how to learn to earn through smart homeownership. Discover expert insights, practical advice, and inspiring stories on turning your home into a powerful financial asset. Whether you are a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor, let's unlock your home's true potential together. Welcome to Home Equity Secrets. Thank you, everybody, for watching, listening. Home Equity Secret. I'm welcoming you back. Today, we do have the James Daughrity. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to let James actually introduce himself because he has so much to offer. James, can you talk to people about you?
Okay, sure. My name is James Daughrity. I'm originally from the south side of Chicago. I currently reside in Inglewood, California, and I've been in real estate for 2+ decades. So 2 decades pretty much, and I've been doing commercial real estate property management for about 14 years. And I recently launched my property management company, so-called Premier Property Management, about 2 years ago, and we're the premier property management in Southern California.
Awesome. Now, James is a real estate broker, commercial real estate broker. James, why commercial real estate broker?
Why not? So commercial real estate, it's always fascinating to me because when I first got into it, like when I was a kid, when I was in sixth grade, that's when I realized I wanted to go into commercial real estate. When I was like, okay, I always was fond of real estate, but in sixth grade, that's when I realized I wanted to go into commercial real estate because of a horrible, terrible movie called Strictly Business. The movie starring Tommy Davidson, it was about this guy. Through the whole movie, he worked on one commercial real estate, one deal. He worked on that one deal throughout the whole movie. That was from the beginning to the end, we were working on one deal. And once that one deal closed, it changed the whole trajectory of his life, his best friend's life, and he got the girl of the movie who was Halle Berry. So I'm like, okay, whatever that guy did, I need to do what he's doing. And that's when I really started taking a deeper dive look into commercial real estate in the 6th, 7th grade.
And this is where I always tell people, watch out what you tell your kids, watch out what you let them watch, because a little something from a movie, from a song, they will actually take it and will impact the rest of their life. Listen to this. Now I know which movie I'm going to have any sixth grader watch because, hey, look at James today. I love it.
I started in Keller Williams, who has an excellent sales program, sales and training, and I was doing every single thing, but having that check coming in every 2 weeks give you a little bit more confidence while you're working on those first couple of deals. And how did I do it? A lot of sleepless nights and a lot of long weekends. So it just kept on going. And I did that for about 2 years. So 2 years of really grinding. So sleepless nights and a lot of different things. Back in my day when I first started in residential real estate, there was just the fax machine coming around. There was no emailing contracts over to people. So you had to fax in your offers to people. And and I had to drive. I was living in the I was living in the suburbs of Bolingbrook. My office was on the south side of Chicago. So I'm driving into town just to fax in an offer for the property back in the day. So I couldn't just do it from my house. And I remember when I first got a fax machine in my house, I was like, you know what? I thought I made it. Like, you know what? This is really big time. I got a fax machine in my house right now. I really made it right now. I just kept it moving and stuff. And then after 2 years, and when I saw that my income from residential real estate sales at the time was 3 times my actual check that I was making, I'm like, okay, this is pulling time away from me when I need to put more into my business. And that's when I left there, when I said, hey, I'm looking at the numbers and the numbers just wasn't making sense. And I had a big cushion to bounce back from. So that's when I decided to go 100% into this.
Yep. So hard work, and you built up the capital in order for you to go back into your business.
I was about 24 years old at the time.
Wow. It's like you and I, we have the same story, man. I started around that age, 23 years old. Yep. It's crazy. But I really did very well. For the first 2-3 years, I just worked very hard. The same, like I was working at night and then I was doing real estate in the day. And just like working 12 hours a day, plus my job at night. And then here I am. And I was still going to school, by the way. So it was crazy. But I really love your story. It's inspiring because a lot of agents, most of my agents, they're always asking me, how do I switch from being a jobber to a business owner to a realtor? How do I leave my job? And the truth is, it takes a lot of passion, a lot of hard work, and determination. That's all it is. And if you can do this, hey, you'll be like James one day. I'm telling you guys, if you're listening to this, this is it.
You really got to treat that job as your business partner. If you look at it, that's what I have in mind. Like, this is my business partner helping me get to the next part of my career. But you have to support your business partner as well, too. So you have to do your job. You have to get things done because you don't want to jeopardize that until you're ready to make that leap.
That's it. That is it. Now, James, a little bit about California. When the market was going crazy, when the properties start going like ridiculously high, what happened to your mindset? Did you think that, hey, it's going to stop, it's going to crash? But here we are. I'm sure that some part of California, a two-bedroom house is close to 1 million, if not more. How did the market, like, I would say, survive itself? Because we knew most people could not afford those homes, but those homes still at the same price. Describe that era, because right now in Miami, we sort of living that change as we speak.
Well, as the benefit about me, I went through a recession. I've been in this for 2 decades. So when I was in Chicago and when I was telling when I was selling those condos, right around 2008, 2009, the market just popped. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow. So I went through that and I saw, like, one day I had so many deals under contract. Then the next day, this deal fell apart. This deal fell apart. This deal fell apart. I was like, wow, I just had 5 deals to fall apart in 1 month. Like, what is happening right now? So I seen that and I weathered that storm. So when I see these cycles coming back around, it's all about cycles. So you just need to know when you need to pivot and when you don't need to pivot. But the interesting things about that, in Chicago during that time when the market took a huge hit, I saw 40%, 50% price drops. Out here in Los Angeles, they would see 5 to 10% price drops and they thought the sky was falling. So it never was as significant as it was in market. So that's why I always
Wow.
say when we started, it depends on what market you in. So California probably had a 5 to 10% drop in the prices, but it never dropped where you see in major markets like the Midwest and some of the down south area where you saw prices dropping 40 to 50% in some places. So we never saw that. So out here you see about 10%, and you're right. Right now, I think a starter home in Southern California is about $850,000 for a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom. And
Yeah.
this is an area you got to choose. Like, what do you look good in, red or blue? Like, you got to really. And these are very significant areas and stuff. Which one? Right here, like right. This is Nipsey album. Nipsey was like famous from the Crenshaw and Slauson.
Yeah.
And that area, where he grew up in, with gang violence and different things going on, systematic racism, gentrification, all of this started happening. So you seen in the area where they was talking about, oh my God, like Crenshaw and Slauson, I can't believe back in the day, a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom off of Crenshaw and Slauson right now is selling for $1 million. So this is what they consider in the quote unquote hood of the neighborhoods where you're seeing 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom selling for close to $1 million. And I was like, but you still got the tree lines and you still have some of the activity of people owning corners. You still got unhoused people that's in the area in front of your house, but you still buying this 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom house for close to $1 million.
It's like I'm still not seeing it. It's just I don't understand how, and it's happening. You're right. Like I put a property on the contract 2 weeks ago for 800,000. I'll be honest with you, that property was worth probably 150 grand 5 years ago.
Right.
And where it is, you're right. The corner is still there. Like it's crazy. But the guy was like, this is it. They see something that it's going to grow. And I'm like, hey, here it is. This is happening. I always tell everybody Miami is becoming the next LA and the next Manhattan. And you just have to grasp for it. It's just like the way it is. Like it's coming. There's nothing you can do about it.
And I know I'm not
Now,
a real estate broker, but like a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm gonna wait till the prices drop. Like people have been waiting for the prices to drop for 10 years. Like now, I tell everybody the perfect time to buy was during COVID. That was the greatest time to buy it. Interest rate 2, 3%. Sellers a little bit hesitant. That's when I bought my house in COVID.
you know, you know what I always tell everybody. Everybody wants the price to drop so they can buy. And I tell them all the time, price dropping is not good for you.
It's not
The
competition.
real estate market like controls almost everything. So if the price drop and this business close, then you lose your job. What are you going to be buying anyway? It's just a question of what you can afford and what are the compromises you are willing to do. Always buy when you are ready to buy. Just buy. If you cannot buy the $1 million mansion, buy yourself a little single family home. If you cannot buy the single family home, buy yourself a condo. If you cannot buy a condo, buy a land, but buy something when you are ready to buy. This is what I always tell everybody.
That's great advice right there.
James, if anybody want to reach out to you, if they want to manage their multi-million-dollar portfolio, how can they reach you?
So the property management company is called SoCal Premier Property Management, and it's SoCalPPM.com. You can reach out to us that way, info@SoCalPPM.com, or you can reach out, get all of my contact information from JamesDaughrity.com. So that got the property management company, that got the brokerage company, everything under Daughrity Real Estate umbrella. You can see right there as well too.
Nice, awesome. All right, now we heard about how you become a real estate broker, commercial real estate broker, for me to say it right. Now, what are the other inspiration? I know you have the premium management company. I know you have the brokerage. What's in the future for you in the next 5 years, 10 years? What's in the future, man?
So now the future is now for me. So about a year or 2 years ago, I started a development arm on the south side of Chicago called Policy Kings. So that's commercial real estate development. Because a lot of times I was going back home and I see like, these corners and dilapidated building, deferred maintenance, vacant lots. And I always saw this like, wow, this was in Los Angeles. I would have sold this 2 times already. So I was like, why haven't it sold yet? So then kept on going back and forth. So I did pick up 2 development projects I'm working on the south side of Chicago. One is on the corner of 51st and King Drive. That's a adaptive reuse where it's 17,000 square feet. We're converting that to 6 retail commercial spaces and 6 apartments above. And another site I have on 75th and King Drive, that's going to be a ground up new construction project where we're doing 38 apartments and about 10,000 square feet of retail. So those are the next steps where I'm going for next. And also, it sounds like I do a lot, but everything I do is under the real estate umbrella, I should say. Also I'm on a development team out here in Southern California where we're bringing a film studio to South LA, where it's going to be 4 sound stages, 180,000 square feet, right off of Crenshaw and Stalker, right there in the heart. This is a $150 million plus project. And I'm on a development team and I'm on a leasing team as well for that project as well coming through. So that's more on my consultant arm. So you have the Daughrity Real Estate and Management with the consulting part, SoCal Premier Property Management. That's a commercial property management what we're doing out here in Southern California, where we're managing everything from office, retail, what else we have going on? Office, retails, and large apartment buildings. Then my bread and butter at the end of the day is Daughrity Real Estate, where I still do commercial sales.
Now, how do you manage all of these, man? I'm sure you have a team. Right. How do you bring the team together? How do you make sure that everybody have the same mindset with you, even if it's not the same exact mindset, but how do you make it work?
One, I pray.
Hey, literally, I love that. Yes, thank you, God.
But thank you, God, because I always, like, sometimes when I'm sitting back busy, and I got to just thank God for me being busy and stressed, because I could be stressed and not busy. So I always think about it that way. And like you said, I have a great team in Chicago. My business partner, Corey Gilkey, the Naxton Group, they really took everything and they're really helping me with everything I have there. Out here in Los Angeles, SoCal Premier Property Management, I have a great team. Alicia Bramble and Odessa Riley. Those are my partners in the SoCal Premier Property Management. And then Daughrity Real Estate, I have a great transaction coordinator, Anna P. I can't never pronounce her last name. She's a transaction coordinator. She keeps all of that things in the hand. So every single thing I do, I have a great team around me to help me look better when I'm going out in public. I always consider myself the rainmaker. I'm going out there grabbing the deals, going out there closing the deals. But the back office and the paperwork, the support system I need, that's what it's all about at that end of the day. Then I'm going to throw another wrench into it. I have a 2-year-old too. So now I'm chasing.
Oh, which is more than all of them combined.
My 2-year-old, I have my wife. She's also the doctor. She's the professor at Cal State Long Beach. And, us, we bring great partners at the end of the day. You got
Yeah,
to
of
have a
course.
good
Of
partner.
course.
So,
Of
like, yes,
course.
raising the next James Daughrity. He's James Daughrity the fifth.
Oh, nice. Let me tell you, it's enjoy it, my friend. Enjoy it. Record everything. My daughter is now 16 years old. Every step, it's a different thing, a different experience. So enjoy every single second, man.
Every single thing.
To
Every day is
me, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, now, how do you stay sustainable when the market is shifting?
oh, that's
Because
easy.
we lived it before.
No, that's easy. I lived that before, and that's why I have a property management company. Like, no matter what's going on in the market in commercial real estate, you're still going to need property management because to sustain those assets. Then at the end of the day, with commercial real estate, just because the market is shifting, that's like, oh wow, maybe I need to sell. Maybe it's time to buy. That I see the market is shifting. You know what? Let me just go ahead and strengthen up the leases that I have in there. Every single thing I just named is a transaction, and it's a fee involved for the broker. So no matter where you're downsizing or you being aggressive during the down market, I get a fee.
Of course. Now, what I want the listeners to listen to what he just said is this. He lived 2008, he learned from it, and he evolved, which means now he knows that, hey, even if it never happened again, but the fact that it could happen, let me make sure that I get ready. So when he's closing deals, he created another source of income that could potentially, like I would say, help during any recession. And to me, this is what business is about. A lot of people think business is about like selling real estate. No, business is about thinking about what can happen, fix it, even if it did not happen.
Right.
And that, I don't know how many people can do it. That's why I tell everybody it is not for everybody. This is what James is doing. I'm going to tell you. Don't say, hey, because James is doing it, I'm going to do it. No, I'm going to ask you, call him first, talk to him. Because I'm sure we don't have enough hours in that podcast for him to tell you about the bad things that happen. Because we all have those. So, yeah. Go ahead.
I said we'd be here all day. I always tell people like, oh, tell me about your favorite deal. I'll tell you about my favorite deal that didn't close. I can tell you that one. Those deals that closed, those are fantastic. I love those, but it's some of those deals like, wow, I can't believe that didn't close.
And he did mention that he goes back home. He's building back home. Are you doing anything else that is about the community? Any other community involvement acts that you guys or the whole team is involved in?
So I wholeheartedly believe that we on this earth to serve, and I wholeheartedly believe that and deep down inside me. So when we first started, when you like how long it took me to get into commercial real estate, and I wanted to go straight into graduating because companies was not hiring African American minorities at the time like they are right now. And then once you go into residential real estate, is a stigma between like, oh, he's a residential real estate agent. He's not going to be a good broker. He's not going to be a good commercial broker. Like, wow. So me thinking back in the day, like, hey, let me just get my real estate chops, work my way to commercial real estate. It kind of set me back a little because I didn't know the stigma and the perception that commercial brokers and companies had. So I interview with every single company. So because of that, I try to be the person who I needed 20 years ago. I help mentor a lot of high school kids, incoming people looking for real estate. I mean, looking to get into commercial real estate because I want to do more deals with people from minority communities and people who look like the community. People who I think commercial real estate brokers should reflect the community that they're working at a lot more than what I'm seeing in today's market. I see it so often that the majority, white people and stuff, like they're coming to like the inner city communities and they're selling all the commercial real estate, and we don't have anybody we call to trust or somebody that we know. So like programs, REAP program, real estate associate program, help minorities get into commercial real estate. I wholeheartedly support them to the fullest. another program called Ross, USC Ross. It helps minorities get into commercial real estate and understand real estate development and financing. So I support that program a lot. I sit on the board for ARAP, African American Real Estate Professionals Los Angeles. We help champion more commercial real estate deals in Los Angeles. So we're a national organization. Soon, hopefully, we'll be opening up an organization in Chicago to help champion more and bringing the commercial real estate community more in tune and more together. So I do a lot of different things going over to help see minorities succeed in this commercial real estate industry, because residential real estate is different from commercial, and I want to see more of us getting into the commercial real estate area.
100%, 100%. You said something that I'm sorry, I'm going to be quoting you probably for the next 3 months.
No problem.
Become the person you needed 20 years ago.
Correct.
This, I have goosebumps. Like, sometimes some of us do it, we don't even pay attention, but he just mentioned it. James said it in a sentence: become the person you needed 20 years ago. And I believe when you do that, you will feel a little bit more fulfilled in your life. The one thing that I enjoy what you're doing is you're sitting on the board, you're trying to bring the community together, the African, Black American, you're trying to help them becoming more wealthier, like they have to actually own stuff. And
Right.
if they own more commercial buildings, they have more power. And to me, if one of us, two of us, five of us decide to put together in a room and really help people understand why buying commercial properties is very important. I myself, I had people that tells me like, no, I'm not going to buy commercial properties, Carl, because when they sit empty for years. Well, how would you answer to that objection?
Right now, I would say first, get you a good commercial real estate broker who understand the market that you're in. And every single market, it depends. It's like they like thumbprints. Even the market in Southern California, the Southern Los Angeles market is different from the Inglewood market. Inglewood market is different from the Torrance market. Torrance is different from Culver City. Culver City is different from West Hollywood. And I could go on and on. So find your commercial real estate broker who's familiar with that particular market. Now,
Yeah.
what I do, like you were saying, I wouldn't even recommend what I do to people. Nobody will recommend what you do because they're like, oh, Jay, what do you do? I just tell them I'm all things commercial real estate. The reason why I put 20 years into this, I've done residential, industrial, office, retail, land, development. So I have sold transactions all across the board. And I'm particular about the clients I work with. So I have a lot of high net worth individuals, family offices, and institutions that I work with. But at the end of the day, I still, like I said, become the person I wanted to be 20 years ago. I always help first-time commercial real estate buyers. I cannot just help the wealthier getting wealthy if I'm not teaching it and taking back the jewels and nuggets that I'm learning. So I work with a lot of different CDFIs, SBA banks to educate people like, hey, you know you could buy commercial real estate for 10 to 15% down if you own 51% of it. And we could get around that 51% of you owning it if you just being a partner into one of the businesses that you actually buy it. So with that being said, you're going to have a low risk if you use a CDFI, SBA loan, and your commercial real estate. If you could get in with good numbers and you can find a good tenant, you shouldn't have no problems. And even with commercial real estate, residential real estate, we see leasing for 1 year. So you buy a duplex every single year, you got to renew that lease. The minimum lease, what I do with a commercial real estate is 5 years. And most of the time we do a 5-year lease with 3 5-year options. So that's 20 years of steady income that you can have in place. So when people like, what I'm going to do, like, no, you're probably going to be vacant for a few months, but get you a good commercial real estate broker like James Daughrity, real estate.
James Daughrity.
Who also could find you a great asset and also negotiate a great lease for you. And then also, once we like find you that asset, then we lease the asset up for you. Then I could supply this account Premier Property Management arm to manage the property, make sure nothing goes there. So we're from the grave with your real estate needs.
Now that leads us to the questions of the podcast.
Okay.
If you do have a couple or one of your business owners that sit on a property because you're commercial. So I'm not gonna say house on a property because you're in California. I used to say 500,000, but we're gonna bring it up to $2 million. That's sitting on a $2 million equity on their property. They literally have toddlers at home. What would you recommend them?
So you saying got about $500,000 of just
If
liquid.
you're in Florida, but because you're in California, I think I should bump it up to 2 million. Like,
No, let's stay there. I'm going to do this just like this.
500. Okay.
Let's do this. So I would say if you have a $500,000 liquidity, what I
Okay.
would do first, I would go ahead and give me an SBA loan or CDFI loan. From there,
Okay.
you got to put down 20 to 30%. But you got 500,000 and you're a first-time commercial real estate buyer, so they're gonna consider you a high risk. So what I would do, I would find a small strip center or a single tenant net lease, something like a small, let me see, what would be a good one right now? I would say a Church's Chicken, a McDonald's, or a
Okay.
small retail that's recession proof or a store like that. And I will buy one of those. So like, what do you mean, James? Like literally, I would buy one of them. So let's say it costs $1.5 million for a small strip center. You already leased out. You have 500,000. Put down your 500,000. Get you a mortgage for the million because we're gonna get that through the SBA or we're gonna get that through a CDFI. Once you get your mortgage for $1 million, you put down 500. Your mortgage might be principal, interest, taxes, insurance. You
Mm-hmm.
might be looking at 6,500, 7,000 a month. I could tell you easily, you can rent out one of those suites for 5,000, 6,000 a month. You rent out the second one for 5,000, 6,000 a month. So now you rent out the last one 5,000, 6,000 a month. So you're looking at $16,000, $17,000 minus your $6,000 to $7,000 mortgage. So you just created $10,000 worth of positive cash flow for you a month from that $500,000 that was sitting in your residential house that you just moved over by knowing the good tools that you need to go through. And you could do this with SBA loans, you could do this with CDFIs, and hold on to that for 2 to 3 years and watch your property value go up. And you already put down a $500,000, so that 1.5 million, it should be worth 2 million, 2, 3. Then guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna do it again.
Duplicate.
Duplicate, find it again.
So
I'm
this
doing
is
that.
why the podcast exists. This is the podcast. Let me tell you, what he just did is take your 500,000 without you even calculating it, he multiplied by 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was doing the math in my head. $10,000 a month times 12, that's 120 grand. You hold it for 4 years, that's $600,000. I was like, whoa, this is it. And this is why I was very adamant on who we bring to the podcast because I wanted to bring people that can teach others how to become wealthy. Because a lot of us are sitting on the key to the door, but we just don't know how to use it. And a lot of people needs that one little push, that one little advice, that one little idea from James, from me, to just say, hey, my key will fit in that door, my key will fit in this door. And before you know it, we would have a whole community of people that own stuff. If you don't own things, you do not have a voice on the table.
Correct.
You have to own things. And I believe that this is what James is actually all about. He's teaching people how to own commercial building. And to me, I'm sorry to tell you guys, I do believe owning commercial is 10 times better than owning residential because, again, you are 2 steps closer to the table. That's what I think. Because people that owns commercial, hey, you're a big deal. That's my opinion. Then, James, is there anything else you want to tell the people before we cut this short?
It's interesting. I always give people this tidbit. Once again, don't do what I do. Go ahead. Just look at me as a beacon of light. And I remember once I really got into Los Angeles commercial real estate, once again, it started all over when I moved out to LA. I started interviewing for different companies and nobody hired me. So finally, one company, small brokerage, took a chance on me and I closed a deal within the first 6 weeks. And that's unheard of. And once I closed that deal the first 6 weeks, it took me another like 6 to 7 months to get another deal in contract. And I'm like, you know what, James, I just wasn't feeling comfortable. So then I started just talking to people more comfortable. I started relaxing. I started networking more. And that's when it took it off. So I always tell people, feel comfortable in the skin that you're in. Like you looking at my background right now, this is how I do all my Zoom meetings. I rotate these records depending on how I'm feeling for the week. So
Really?
these are real records. So I rotate them.
No, but you rotate them?
Oh yeah, it's my therapy.
Wow.
So I rotate the records, I play the records and stuff, and then I'm just out there networking. Like I tell people, I'm a serial entrepreneurial networker. I belong to ICSC, I belong to ULI, I belong to, who else do I belong to? Well, still can't talk about that one. A lot of other organizations that I go to, so I'm two of them that I'm trying to get onto the board right now. ARAP LA, anything that's networking, anything like that, I'm showing up, I'm being present. You just can't go to these networking things and just walk around and not be there. You got to go with intentions behind every single thing you do and be present. Ask questions, talk to people, give people cards, follow up with them. That's one thing people don't do. They don't follow up with people. And last but not least, one thing I always tell any kind of commercial real estate broker or any residential broker, don't be a secret agent. Let everybody know in your sphere what you do. I would feel horrible when I walk around like, oh James, I didn't know you sell real estate. I was like, oh my God, so I'm not doing something right.
Yeah, you missed it.
Like
Yeah, you're right.
secret agent. Whatever you do in the life, like you got to really put out to let people know, and just really promote yourself and just trust God in everything you do.
Man, I do enjoy speaking to you. I love the man that you are. Your 2-year-old is probably the luckiest child on earth, because I'm going to tell you, the way you say things, the way you approach life, it's an example to follow. You just use a word, see me as a beacon of light. Don't do what I do. It's like I would say it because I'm going to say it right now. There's no selfishness in anything you say. It's insane. It's like, even most people would be like, hey, I did this, so I want you to follow me, do it the way I do. But no, you're not saying that. You're saying, see me as an example just for you to start, and then get your own way if that's the way you want. And to me, wow, this is amazing. This is great. So James, this is the podcast. Thank you everybody for watching Home Equity Secret. Again, my name is Carl Christian. I'm going to tell you that today I've learned so much. I agree with everything that James said, because, hey, this is us. This is the life. This is the world. We need to go through them, and we have to have a seat on the table. Thank you so much, everybody. See you soon. Thank you for tuning into Home Equity Secrets. I'm Carl Christian, and I hope you found today's episode insightful and inspiring. Remember, you can learn to earn how to set up your real estate portfolio to achieve financial freedom. I dedicate my life to helping homeowners like you unlock the potential of their homes in South Florida. Hit me up if you're in the area and let's chat. Please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. For more tips and updates, follow us on social media and visit our website. Thank you for listening.